Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you have been given the food menu on a plane prior to takeoff? You see something on the menu and get super excited. But when the food trolley or the food cart reaches your row, that option you really wanted is not available anymore. So what do you do in such situations? You just have to take whatever is available. And what does that do? You have a meal at 35,000 feet that feels like a compromise even before you've had your first bite. Many of us have been in this situation. There are certainly some ways to overcome this, so let's dive into this week's episode aptly titled Food on a Plane. Food that we have on a flight has come a long way. Did you know that the first in-flight meals were served in 1919, more than 100 years ago, on the Handley-Page London to Paris route? It was very exotic, a packed lunch consisting of a sandwich and some fruit. Now doesn't that sound yum? For 1919 that is. As our taste buds have evolved, plain food has also undergone a tremendous transformation. Through the decades, airlines have become more and more accommodative about the in-flight food and beverage experience, and this can be seen in the offerings. Many airlines offer special meals to accommodate passengers of varying lifestyles and diet preferences. These special meals need to be booked in advance. We recommend that you select your special meal while booking your ticket or immediately afterward. This way, you are certain not to forget it. And in case you don't add it while booking, most airlines allow special meal selections up to 48 hours prior to departure of the first flight of your ticket. This can usually be done via the Manage Booking page on airline websites. But when you visit the website, you see codes like AVML, VGML, HNML, and a whole lot more. So how do you decide which one to go for? I have been witness to co-travelers rolling their eyes when they thought they booked a vegetarian meal and hence selected VGML as the preferred choice of meal and ended up with a meal with some mashed potatoes and boiled vegetables when what they were really expecting was a nice paneer makhni and pulao. Why does this happen? So let's break these codes down a little further. One of the most common mistakes that travelers make while selecting a meal is that they opt for VGML as their in-flight special meal option. But did you know VGML is also often called the Western vegetarian meal? This meal is basically vegan, which means it does not contain meat, poultry, eggs, dairy, honey, or any animal byproducts. This meal is often grain-based, cooked with vegetables, and comes with a side dish of fresh fruit. So what do you do if you want a vegetarian meal, but one that is not entirely Western like this? Well, the other option that I would recommend going for is AVML. AVML stands for Asian Vegetarian, which has a vegetable-based Indian or Chinese style dish, does not contain meat or poultry, but some ingredients might be milk products. Most vegetarian travelers from India should pick this option, that is AVML instead of VGML. In addition to this, some airlines also have started offering an option known as VJML. This is a meal option for passengers who are part of the Jain community. Meals are prepared with Indian condiments and are usually spicy. These meals don't contain any onion, garlic, or any root vegetables. The meals will contain fresh fruit and vegetables that grow above the ground, and this meal is also a very good alternative for vegans who choose VGML as a meal option. But like I said, only a few airlines offer this option. Add to this, there is another option known as HNML. This refers to Hindu non-veg meal and does not contain beef, but a dish that is often lamb, chicken, or fish. It is typically spicy and may contain eggs or dairy ingredients. If you are traveling from India, if you're an Indian traveler or an Asian traveler, my suggestion would be that if you like non-vegetarian, an HNML meal is quite a good choice. In addition to these codes, there are many other special meals that can be booked in advance, like FPML, which means a fruit platter, RVML, which means a meal of raw vegetables, and VOML, which is vegetarian oriental. One of the advantages of pre-booking your meal is that these meals are usually served before the general food service begins on the flight, which means that you no longer have to wait and keep looking down the aisle waiting for the food trolley to reach your row. Another piece of advice, or a rather important one, is that if for any reason you decide to switch seats on a plane with someone, kindly inform the crew before takeoff. This ensures that they know that the special meal that you have pre-booked reaches your new seat number and not the old one. The last thing you want is for your pre-booked meal reaching someone else and you having to pick from the general options. These codes aren't applicable for low-cost carriers in India like Indigo, GoAir, which is now known as Go First, SpiceJet, and AirAsia India, as they have standalone items that you can either book in advance or can buy on the flight at 35,000 feet. Finally, a question I'm often asked is whether the food on the flight differs between economy, business, and first class. The answer to this is a massive yes. Everything, the crockery, cutlery, the salt and pepper shakers, and the food is a step up as you go up in the class of travel. Airlines like Emirates and Etihad even have a bar area on some of their A380 aircrafts. Airlines like Singapore Airlines introduced something called the Shahi Thali, designed by famous chef Sanjeev Kapoor to give an authentic North to South Indian dining experience to its business and first class passengers. Discussing all this has certainly made me miss long haul flight travel, and I'm sure you are in FOMO land too. So here's to us traveling on long haul flights soon and relishing our special meals at 35,000 feet. Thank you for listening and see you next week with another travel tip. Take care and stay safe everyone.